guys, so the video today is essentially just going to be on how to pick your accessories, and this is going to be in accordance to how close you are to a meet or how far away you are from a meet. So we're going to start with the first principle, which is the rule of specificity. This is the singular most important rule regarding training in general, and it's going to make it so that your lifts are going to be able to increase, and by that I'm talking about your main three, so squat, bench, deadlift. The closer an exercise is to those main three lifts, the more carryover you're going to end up having to your actual lift itself. So for example, you're going to have a lot more, I'll use a really crude example actually. So let's say your goal is to squat 600 pounds. And right now you're at about a 500-pound squat. You're given two options on how to train for that. So you could either squat every day, or instead of squatting every day, you could do 10 miles on a recumbent bike. And those are the only two training options you have. Now, based on those two training options, which do you think is going to have more carryover to reaching that goal of a 600-pound squat? Right, the squatting everyday choice. So, and this principle holds true regardless of what the other exercise is. So for instance, you're probably going to see a lot more carryover from a close grip bench to than something like a board press or something like that, where the range of motion is shortened and you're not working from the same positionings as you would be from a tricep, or from a primary tricep movement like the close grip bench. Other than that, obviously the pause bench is going to be the most specific, and most specific I mean for a 1 rep max is going to be the most specific form of it. That's going to be more specific than a touch and go. That's going to be more specific than a close grip. It's going to be more specific than a slingshot. But the closer you are to a meet, the more specific you want your movement to be. So and that's not to say that the other ones aren't important. So I still work in a lot of pin presses, a lot of board presses, but the closer I get to wanting to test my max, wanting to test a peak of any sort of training cycle, I'll start dwindling down the type of exercises I use. So instead of doing that board press, I'll start using the slingshot, which allows me to overload but work through a greater range of motion, thus creating a more natural feel that more mirrors a bench than any sort of board press would. Same thing though goes for I guess squats a little bit different, because how much, like, the only really variations you're gonna have is high bar, low bar, pause, and front squat, really, for the most part. I guess from the pins you could too. So I guess I'm wrong actually. So in that case, whatever your competition lift is, as far as squatting goes, whether it's high bar, low bar, that's going to be the most specific, and then you're going to want to cut all those variations out the closer you get to a meet, and vice versa. The further out from a meet you are, you want to do more variation and probably more volume too, just so you can bring up those weak points. But I guess the main point is the reason why you want to train more specifically the closer you get to a meet is because you want to have more practice as to what you're going to actually be doing. And that's really the bottom line when it comes down to. You are testing all those weak points that you had been building up with that more volume phase, more variation phase, and putting it to the test with your more specific phase. But that's going to be part 1 of how to pick your accessory series. Thanks for watching, guys.